pleasure today to introduce or reintroduce Mr. Robert Cohen. Mr. Robert Cohen, author of the original book called Milk, the Deadly Poison. I must say something here. Out of all the shows that we've done, we probably had more comment, favorable comment about that particular one than any other. So we're bringing Robert Cohen on again because he has a new book. And to me, it's even more exciting because I think that from children on to the oldest adult, you're going to really like this one. In fact, you're going to read every sentence of it. So, Mr. Robert Cohen, Robert, the book, Milk from A to Z?
Right.
Tell me about that.
A to Z, allergies to zits. We've got a 64-page book. We've got the letter A, you'll see a drawing for allergies, and B for breast cancer, C for Crohn's disease, D for diabetes, and we've got 5 or 6 scientific references from peer-reviewed scientific journals. Journal of Endocrinology, the New England Journal of Medicine, Journal of the American Medical Association. They all point about 200 very direct lines of evidence at cow's milk, causing many, many problems for the human body.
Well, for those of you who have not read Robert Cohen's first book, Milk, the Deadly Poison, you might be wondering why he's writing a book here about milk, because we've all been told that milk is a perfect food. So, Robert, what made you write this book?
Well, milk is a perfect food. Okay? The milk from the human mother is the perfect food for the baby infant. The milk from the cat for the kitten and from the dog for the puppy. You would not be stupid enough to drink pig milk or horse milk or dog milk. Sounds disgusting. As an adult, you wouldn't even want to drink human breast milk. But instinctively, you know that those things have substances that shouldn't be in your body. They're called lactoferrins, immunoglobulins, hormones, powerful hormones, Dr. Padu. And if I tell you that in her lifetime, a woman makes in her body the equivalent of just 1/2 a tablespoon of estrogen. And that's what our little girls are drinking every day and eating with every bite of cheese. They're eating estrogen and progesterone and oxytocin and melatonin, prolactin, female hormones. That's why the little girls look a little different today than they looked even 20 years ago. 20 years ago, the average American ate 10 pounds of cheese. Today, it's pounds of cheese that the average American eats.
Well, what's actually wrong with those hormones?
Well, we learn that when little girls grow up before their time, when 9-year-old girls are developed like 20-year-old women, let's forget sociologically for a second. Let's forget the women becoming too mature at age 9, but let's talk about women who become mature at age 9. Women who come into maturity earlier develop higher rates of breast cancer, of uterine cancer, of ovarian cancer, and cancer rates in African-American community are soaring. And why are they soaring? 40% of what the average American eats is milk and dairy. And in African-American communities, you look at New York, and you look at Detroit and Chicago and Miami, it's a subsidized food. And that's what we're giving to our kids in school. They go to school, they're getting cereal with milk, they're getting macaroni and cheese pizza for lunch. It's all subsidized by the government. And we find this is congesting them. We find this is causing asthma rates to soar, and it's causing diabetes rates to increase, and attention deficit disorder. There are lots of hormones in milk that change a child's behavior, and it takes away the ability for the child to learn.
Yeah, that's very serious. Well, since that is true, let's put it that way, why is it that in the school system, from kindergarten on, they have so much material promoting the use of milk and cheese and dairy for the youth?
Well, that's a good question. The dairy industry spends $500 million a year promoting milk. I found Richard Nixon, and this is in my first book. Richard Nixon on March 23, 1971, took a $3 million cash gift. It's on a Watergate tape. And he took $3 million cash from the dairy industry. 2 days later, the price of milk was raised in America $300 million. There's a lot of politics involved. And the Milk Dairy Board, they're the ones who promote milk. They're the ones who send the information into the schools. And they have a lot of money to do it with.
One thing that you really made clear to me is that even if the present-day cows and the chain that they use for the milk is not genetically engineered, hormone injected, still that cow has a natural bovine growth hormone that promotes growth to build a huge animal, in other words, another cow. And when you add to that this genetically engineered bovine growth hormone, you're out of control.
If you go to the supermarket, you pay $1 more per quart, and you get the healthiest organic milk from the healthiest cow, that milk is going to contain a lot of hormones in it. Protein, everybody knows protein's good for you. 80% of the protein in milk is a substance called casein. Casein is a glue that's used to hold together the wood in your furniture. If you eat casein, you produce mucus, you produce histamines. We all know what antihistamines are, like Benadryl. You eat casein, you're making mucus in your body. These kids who are having pizza tonight, 12 to 15 hours later, when they have their asthma attack, they're not going to make the association, and neither are the families. And that's what's doing it. You give up milk and cheese and ice cream and butter and yogurt and sour cream for just 7 days, you've got a gallon of mucus leave your body. You're going to get those bronchioles of your lungs clear. You're going to get the kidneys and pancreas, and all of your internal organs will be completely without this mucus that's congesting us.
In this little book of yours, have you addressed arthritis?
Well, we look at R is for rheumatoid arthritis,
Okay.
and we look at O is for osteoporosis.
Okay.
You know that Harvard University is doing a study now with 78,000 nurses, and they found that women who drank a lot of milk as teenagers and ate a lot of cheese, they develop higher rates of pelvic fractures and forearm fractures than not milk drinkers. The real science shows that when you drink a lot of milk, the countries drinking the most milk, Denmark, Norway, Holland, Sweden, they are the highest rates of osteoporosis, of bone breaks. And this is real science. This isn't these silly milk mustaches that people like Spike Lee and Larry King wear. This is real science.
So then we're being duped.
We're being lied to.
That's
This is
right.
an enormous myth.
That's right.
And unfortunately, it's the children. I have on my website, Not Milk, it's called notmilk.com, I have an autopsy of one of my heroes, Florence Griffith Joyner, Flojo.
Yeah.
And Flojo died. She wore one of those milk mustaches, and she died, and in her stomach, when she died 15 hours after she ate it, this much, the size of a brick, of undigested from the pizza, every organ in her body was acutely congested with mucus. Now, she had one drug in her system, Benadryl. She knew she was congested. Somehow the coroner missed it. She had finger marks on her throat. They're called petechial marks, where she was choking herself because she couldn't get air. And this is a story that has to come out. And this is something that people have to see, what milk does to your body and your children's bodies.
You know, we talk about children, but there are many adults that still feel that you gotta have that calcium for strong bones. You hear it every day. You watch the television, it's gonna say that.
Well, we're told to eat 1,000 milligrams a day. Just think about this, 1,000 milligrams a day of calcium. In Canada, the Inuit Indians, the Eskimos, they eat 3,500 milligrams a day of calcium. By age 40, they're all crippled. Figure this one out. They're eating too much animal protein. Animal protein has as its center atom it has an amino acid called